Welcome to Restingtism Face, a pop culture podcast where your host Todd Kinsella gives you what's geek this week. And while you're here, let's talk about being neurospacey, whether that be ADHD, autistic, or both. Which, spoiler alert, I am.
All right. Yes, I am now live. I haven't done a live in a while, so this is I'm we'll see how this goes. I wanted to see, trying to get it to pull up on my phone to make sure everything's working okay. My phone is being difficult right now. Come on. Oh, fuck you. Oh, stop it. All right. I want to make sure I'm live everywhere I need to be live. Before I get started, hey, this is me, Todd Kinsella. I do a weekly podcast called Restingtism Face, and if you're watching this over on any of the platforms that I'm currently on, I should be streaming on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube, and I think I was getting ready to verify that I'm also streaming over on the Tiki Talk, and it looks like I am. Yay! Alrighty then. So I verified that I am streaming. Let's also make sure I'm streaming over on Facebook, and I am on Facebook. Cool. Let's see what else. Oh, gotta check the used tubes, as I used to call it all the time because I was trying to be funny. The used tubes. Oh, hold up. Nope, don't need that. Turn that down. Don't need the volume up on that. And it does not appear that I'm live on YouTube, but that's okay. Okay. I'm live everywhere else, so that's what matters. Hi, everybody. I have a few things I wanted to talk about today. Mostly, D23 was just recent, like yesterday, I think, and there's been a bunch of announcements as far as like Disney-related projects, as well as Star Wars and Marvel, and those are the things I'm going to be talking about: Star Wars and Marvel, and kind of a few other stories too. But for the most part, I'm going to be talking about the things that were announced at D23. And of course, as soon as I start recording the podcast, my stomach is like, "Hey, you haven't eaten today." I'm like, "Oh, come on." Oh man, the joys of being ADHD, you don't really think about things until it's like right in front of you. And sometimes your body doesn't tell you that you're hungry until it's like starving. Like I need to eat right now. What are you waiting for? Why are you not fixing food? Kind of like. So like my ADHD brain and my body is basically like a cat or a small dog. So let's see here. Let me pull up the screen share. My Google Docs I have open here. Yeah. Come on. Here we go. Let's separate those up a little bit so I don't get them mixed up. There we go. All right. So these are the stories I have pulled up, and these will be the links you'll see in the show notes. So if you subscribe to the podcast by going to tismface.rest, or look for Resting Tismface on your favorite podcasting app. Um, and or you can go to the link tree of this page, and it will tell you where you can find the podcast. And yeah, all right. So the first story I have here uh, is not from D23, but this was an interesting story, I thought. Let me open that up real quick. 23 years ago, two horror legends clashed for the first time, and the event served as a farewell for both franchises. You know, that may have been the case, but those franchises continued afterwards, I think. Um, we did get one more of one and a few others of the other one, I believe. Well, let's see what it says here. It says in the 1970s and 1980s built the modern American slasher genre from the ground up, establishing many of the horror icons we know today. Michael Myers began terrorizing suburban Illinois back in 1978 with Halloween, and Leatherface offered some rural terror from in 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Later editions extended that era's diversity with Chucky tearing through 1988's Child's Play, and Pinhead introduced a new form of body horror in 1987's Hellraiser. Despite so many legendary killers emerging within the same period, these characters never crossed paths on screen. Studios treat their villains as property assets, and the rights disputes between competing production companies keeps crossovers a rarity in the genre. Actually, I think a lot of these characters are, or at the very least, um, uh, generic versions of these characters are all available on the game Dead by Daylight. If you've not played that game, I believe it's available on most platforms. You know, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, and but yeah, it's a survival game where you are either the killer or you're one of the people trying to survive the killer. And the one time I played it, the characters were all um, they were all let me turn this up a little bit. They were all generic like copies of like famous slasher, characters. I think nowadays they have the rights and have the actual characters on the game. But this is talking about the movie Freddy vs. Jason. And it says here one of the rare horror crossovers to ever come to theaters happened in August 15th in 2003. I remember that day. I went there to see this movie with a group of friends, and we had a fucking blast. And it says here, as the title betrays, the movie unites the ultimate threats of A Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th franchises, pitching the supernatural slashers against each other, directed by Ronnie Yu, from a screenplay by Damian Shannon and Mark Swift. The film follows Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, as he manipulates the resurrection of Jason Voorhees, played by Ken Kersinger, to restore his own fading power of Springwood, Ohio. Of course, Freddy loses control over Jason, leading to a bloody battle. The gamble paid off commercially, as the film opened to $36 million and finished with $116 million worldwide, more than double the total gross of any single film from either franchise. Massive horror event was also the product of 15 years of broken deals and failed negotiations. Oh, wow. So, I don't know. I really liked this movie. It was so fun. I was kind of bummed by the ending, though. Spoiler alert. Um, it was basically a tie. It was Jason cut off Freddy's head, and Freddy stabbed Jason in the chest with his own knife, and you know, and his machete. But yeah, it's the very end like winks at the possibility of another one, a sequel, and it never happened. That was over 20 years ago. So you would think at some point they would do another one, considering how well that did. But apparently that's not gonna happen. I don't know. I always thought it'd be cool if the next one had like Chucky and maybe Leatherface. So, New Line, which held the rights to Freddy Krueger, and Paramount Pictures, which controlled Jason Voorhees at the time, first discussed a crossover in 1987, shortly after the release of the third Nightmare on Elm Street and the sixth Friday the 13th film. However, each studio wanted to license the other's character while retaining exclusive control of its own. When neither side budged, the deal collapsed before the script was ever commissioned. New Line eventually acquired the rights to Jason Voorhees in the early 1990s, and the and paired producer Sean S. Cunningham, with a rotating slate of writers tasked with cracking the crossover. More than a dozen screenwriters took turn at the project over the following years, including Louis Abernathy, David S. Goyer, and the writing team of Brannon Braga and Ronald D. Moore. Their combined drafts totaled 18 unused scripts. One script imagined Freddy as a former camp counselor connected to Jason's drowning as a child. Another built a plot around the cult of Freddy worshippers plotting to resurrect Jason with a stolen heart, and a version of from Brandon Braga and Ronald D. Moore put Jason on trial in a courtroom. New Line finally hired Damian Shannon and Mark Swift near the end of the 90s, and their approach to the story became the version that reached theaters after 16 years of stalled development and close to $6 million spent across every discarded draft. Uh, Director Yu was brought on to direct, and Freddy vs. Jason entered the production with England and Kursinger cast as Freddy and Jason. Finally, delivering the showdown two studios had chased since the late 90s, or excuse me, late 80s. That's that's fucking cool. I don't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was in development for so long. I actually I'm not really surprised, to be perfectly honest. It took so long. Um, there's more to this story. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but yeah, that was it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Is uh, you get to see like Jason and Freddy fight at Camp Crystal Lake, and you know all the manipulation from Freddy on Jason was really really good. Yeah, it was very entertaining. Um, all right, so next story here. Let's go back to the Google Doc. Um, what is this? Oh, this is the okay. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'll just play a clip. But this is a video. Please don't. Hold on. Let me turn that volume down, way down. Uh, like I said, the links to all this stuff will be in the show notes on the podcast. I will also post them. Actually, hold on. I can do that right now while I'm thinking about it. I will post them over on my Facebook. Let's see here. Boop, 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 boop. All right. I will post it in the comments. You know what I'll do? I'll do this even better. Let's see. Hold on. I know. I need to get this. Where's the share button? Hold on. Gosh. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Copy link. All right. Got that copied, and I'm going to go over here to. Come on. Oh, that's right, because it's on the other screen. That's why it's not popping up for me. So I will post this in the comments of the video, a link to the Google Doc so you guys can see for yourself. Boom there, and over here. Let's see. Okay. What's going on here? Let's see. Let's go over to. I'm streaming over on all of my social medias, and I'm trying to pull up the link so I can post it. Here we go. I'm going to put that link in the comments on Facebook for resting Tism face, and all these notes will be in the all these links will be in the show notes as well. So if you're listening through the normal means of listening to the podcast, or you're not watching the live stream, then you can uh, do that. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, cool. All right, got everything the way I need it to. All right. Do. All right, so that was that. The next thing that I saw that I wanted to talk about was Ahsoka season 2. So I am so looking forward to seeing Ahsoka season 2. Season 1 was really good. It didn't feel like it was long enough. There was so much that needed to be. I thought it needed to be as part of the podcast, or excuse me, part of the show. um, but yeah, I don't know. This is what it says here. Ahsoka season 2 trailer confirms a major season 1 problem has been resolved. I don't remember there being any problems, but it's been a while since I watched. So it says Ahsoka season 1 marked the arrival of a new live action Star Wars TV show, but it was essentially the 5th season of the animated series Star Wars Rebels. Many of the storylines and character arcs are rooted in their earlier show. Ahsoka and Sabine Wren embark on a mission to find the missing Ezra Bridger, who disappeared in the emotional Rebels finale. While Hera Syndulla attempts to warn the New Republic about Grand Admiral Thrawn's imminent return. In addition to seeing the fan favorite Ahsoka finally headline her own project several years after her debut, one of the main selling points of Ahsoka was seeing the main Rebels crew in live action. As great as it was to watch Hera, Sabine, Ezra, and even Chopper come to life like never before, there was one key character missing. Zeb was the only living member of the classic Ghost crew who did not appear in Ahsoka season 1, but this problem has been rectified in season 2. Although, he was available in Mandalorian, right? He was in an episode of The Mandalorian. He was also in The Mandalorian and Grogu. So it's cool that he's finally coming to be on the show. And I actually met Steve Bloom a few years back at a comic book type show, It wasn't at Comic Con. It was a retro gaming convention that happens or used to happen here in Renton, Washington. And he and the cast of Cowboy Bebop were there, and um, I got to meet Steve and chat with him for about 10, 15 minutes. He's a super nice guy. And if you have any interest in being a voice actor, he has an online school that teaches people how to succeed in the world of voiceover. And I would love to do that, but I can't afford to do it. I mean, it's not that expensive if you have a 9 to 5 job and you can throw down $25 a month. I currently am paying that amount of money for something else. So I'm either gonna do the something else or I'm gonna do this other thing. And right now, I would rather have the something else. As much as it would be cool to have access to his online school, which I've discovered is mostly just a collection of videos that you watch and kind of do it yourself kind of thing, which is fine. I was under the impression that there was going to be a lot more of like live interaction with him and other people who are voice actor professionals. But either way, it's going to be cool to see Zeb with the rest of the Ghost crew. If you've never watched Star Wars Rebels, it's on Disney Plus right now, and is absolutely one of my favorite animated Star Wars things. I didn't initially care for the animation style because it looked like play school toys, and I figured that's what they were gonna sell with it. But the story was really well done, and the the cast of actors are all amazing in their own right, and I've seen them in other things, so I was willing to give it a shot watching um, to watch the show based on the actors involved. So I was like, yeah, cool, yeah, let's watch that, you know. And see here. Oh yes, sorry, I got distracted briefly there. Um, it says from the footage shown in the Ahsoka season 2 trailer, it's clear that the war is coming. Thrawn is using the might of his fleet to eliminate the New Republic and reestablish the Empire as the dominant force in the galaxy. Considering the high stakes, uh, it'd be reasonable to assume that Din Djarin and Rada would join the fight. Both are more than capable of handling themselves in battle. It would be odd if they were missing from the great conflict against an enemy like Thrawn. Rada is now directly working with the New Republic. Mando is more of an independent contractor who takes on jobs for the good guys, in air quotes. While he mentors the young Grogu, it wouldn't be a shock if Zeb called upon them to help, depending on how dire things get. I'm down for seeing that. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds awesome. Um, let's see here. Does it say when it's coming out? I know it's coming out either later this year or early next year. Okay. There's no mention. There's no mention of the release date. So let me do some Googling real quick. Here we go. January 20th, 2027. That's when it's coming out. All right, cool. I'm down. I can wait. I don't want to, but I can. All right. Spider Man Beyond the Spider Verse. Somebody leaked the trailer. Yeah. All right, hold up. You know what? Damn you. Okay, I guess I can't talk about this because they have an ad blocker and I can't I can't turn it off. All right. So we're skipping that one. I will put the link will still be in the show notes, and you guys can click on it yourself. And if you already have a subscription, then you can see it for yourself. All right. Uh, Star Wars 50th anniversary is next year, which means the return of the theatrical release. I've talked about this before on I think here on this podcast, or maybe it was one of the other ones I was working on. Um, but this is what it says here. On February 19th, 2027, we'll celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars with the re-release of the 1977 original back for a limited time in theaters everywhere. Part of Lucasfilm's year-long 50th anniversary celebration, a newly restored version of the classic Star Wars theatrical release. I'm having trouble with my words today. Later renamed Star Wars: A New Hope, will play in theaters for a limited time. I will never call it A New Hope. I am that fanboy. Because my favorite version of the movie is the theatrical release, and it's always going to be Star Wars to me. I have a copy of it that I bought back in the early 2000s on DVD. That 20th Century Fox released all three of the original trilogy, and then they uh, what they do? You know what? My brain is not braining right now. There we go. Come on. Why are we being difficult? There we go. I'm actually yelling at my computer now, not my brain. Although that really isn't much different, honestly. I'm just double checking where I'm streaming. All right, cool. So yeah, uh, I have those versions of the movies, and whenever I watch the original trilogy, those are the versions I'm watching. I'm watching Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, or The Return of the Jedi. Those are what I watch. I don't watch the new ones. I've watched the new ones once when they first came out in like the late '80s, early to mid '90s, I think, and then I know they've done some updates since then, and even as recent as I think like 10 years ago or whenever it was that Disney Plus started. They made some modifications to the original trilogy. I think they upgraded some of the graphics that were like really dated. Like I think Jabba the Hutt's bonus scene in the original movie looked janky as all get out. So um, I think um, they did some updates to Empire and Jedi as well. I don't really remember. Let's see here. Let's see. It looks like it was on YouTube. I don't know. Either way, I was looking to see what's going on over here using my phone. See how everything's going. If there's anybody in the chat, I'm not seeing it on my computer screen, but that doesn't mean there's not people chatting. So, um, nobody's watching over on TikTok, which is fine. It's fine. Getting back to the articles here. I am really looking forward to seeing Star Wars again in theaters. I really cannot wait to see this movie in theaters. I'm absolutely going to be buying myself tickets as soon as they're available, or at the very least, I'll be asking somebody else to buy them for me, because I can't miss it in theaters. I just can't. Um, I mean, legitimately, I've seen this movie hundreds of times over the last 50 years, and I have enjoyed every time I watched it. And I think the last time I saw it in theaters was in 1999, and that was the special edition. The last time I saw the original theatrical release was in 1977, I think. It was I have vague memories of seeing it at a drive-in. I'm fairly certain the drive-in was either Midway or the one that was in SeaTac, possibly Auburn. There was a bunch of drive-ins in the area in the greater Seattle area, all of which are gone now. They're all either parking lots or some other business entirely. I think the one in Midway is now a Home Depot, but I can't wait to see this in theaters. I really, 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 really want to see it. All right, so let's see here. The next story. I saw this article. I haven't actually looked at it yet. This is loudwire.com, which is a heavy metal online magazine, I guess you could call it. It says the perfect metal songs for 11 iconic Disney villains. I saw it like I have to read this online. I have to read this on the podcast. Even was what I meant by that. All right, because Disney appears to be in its metal era, we compiled a list of perfect metal songs for 11 iconic Disney villains. In early August, Disney dropped a line of villains merch that looked inspired by metal band logos. Cool. Let's click on that real quick and see. Oh, come on. Stop that. Scrolling through. Oh, wow, yeah. That looks really metal. And it looks like it comes with a long sleeve um, undershirt, or maybe that's like supposed to be like tattoo sleeves. Who knows? Um, oh wow, yeah, folks. If you're listening to this on a normal podcasting platform, be sure to come check it out on the Substack. The video will be posted there as well as over on YouTube. Search for Resting Tism Face on YouTube, or go to tismface.rest for all the links to important pages like YouTube and Substack. What else we got here? Nice. That's fucking cool right there. Ooh, shiny. Maleficent. These all look like tour t-shirts for like various metal bands. I like this one here. Absolutely wicked, and it has all the really cool. Yeah, that looks like it's the ACDC font, so that's cool. Scrolling low. Pull the lever, Crunk. Wrong lever. That's awesome. All right, is that it? That's all of them, I think. So let's see what this says here. So the story went viral, and we realized there are probably a lot more Disney-loving metalheads out there. I'm definitely I wouldn't call myself a Disney adult, but I definitely enjoyed myself when I was in Disneyland on my 50th birthday 5 years ago. That was a lot of fun. I it was one of those trips that like at some point during the trip I realized I got to enjoy all of this because I'm probably never coming back because I can't afford that to do that kind of trip. That trip solely happened because of my sister Heidi, and you know probably the single coolest thing she ever did. Um, Although there appeared to be strings attached to that, so I don't have any of the items that I got from that trip, with the exception of I have a couple of hats. I have a Star Wars hat, and then I also have a Mickey ears hat. And I'm pretty sure I still have them both. I know I definitely have the Star Wars hat because I wear hats a lot, and I love Star Wars. So getting back to this story here, where is the list of where is it? I'm trying to find the list of songs. I have to scroll past all this. Oh, here we go. So number one on maybe not in any particular order, but on just the first one listed here is Maleficent sleeping from Sleeping Beauty. Says here, since the villainess of the 1959 Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent transformed into a fire-breathing dragon towards the end of the film. Dio were obviously the first group that came to mind when thinking of the theme song for her. And considering the ninth studio album literally named Killing the Dragon in 2002, the title track was an obvious fit. That's awesome. I don't know. I know that song. It's I'll play a little bit of it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. How did I do that? I managed to pick the same exact riff with no words twice. All right, next song. I'm not gonna play every song here, mind you. You guys can check it out for yourself, clicking on the links in the description of the video or in the show notes. You can check out this article from Loudwire. And the next one on the list is Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and it says here. Uh, mm, 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 uh, It looks like the song for her is Chelsea Wolfe's Vex, and I don't know this song. I'm not familiar with Chelsea Wolfe. I'll have to check it out later. Scar from The Lion King. Looks like King Nothing. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. That's so fucking perfect. It's so perfect. Where's your crown, King Nothing? Yeah. The Evil Queen from Snow White and the Seven Dwarves has got Blind Guardian's Mirror Mirror from 1998. Nice. Blind Guardian, yeah, that's a good band. I enjoyed them. Captain Hook from Peter Pan. Says here. Captain Hook from Peter Pan in 1953 was one of the most legendary pirate characters of all time. So pirate metal only made sense, and and what better band to represent pirate metal than the originators of the genre, Running Wild. Under Jolly Roger is essentially a pirate metal anthem. Okay, right on. And the voodoo guy from the Frog Prince. I don't know how to pronounce his name though. Dr. Felicier. I'm probably butchering it. Um, it's played by the by uh, Keith David, man. I think he's the voice of this guy. Or he's best known as the Shadow Man, as a villain in 2009 as the Princess and the Frog. Hold on a second. Gotta take a drink of water. Alright. Alright, here we go. So the song for him is King Diamond Voodoo. I know of King Diamond, but I don't know his music well enough to know the song. So I'm sure this is perfect for him. And Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, uh, uh, from the band Ghost. The song's called Year Zero. Ghost is actually pretty awesome. I've seen a number of their videos and I thought they were awesome. Hades from the movie Hercules uh, is basically it's Slayer, fucking Slayer, man. Hell awaits. Perfect. Jafar from Aladdin is Testament Riding the Snake from 1999's The Gathering. Okay. I know Testament. I don't know them well enough to recognize all their music, but I'm aware of them. They've been around a long time. Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, and her song is Bark at the Moon. So appropriate. I love it. It's one of my favorite Ozzy songs, too. Uh, and then Chernabog from Fantasia, which is like the big devil looking guy, says here. What is the song? So we present you with from Behemoth, which by definition means something of monstrous size and power or appearance. O Father, O Satan, O Son is the name of the song. Okay. That's those are all. I mean, I only recognize maybe two or three of those songs. I'm gonna go back and actually listen to them all and see if I agree with this list. But if any of the other ones are anything like their choice for for Cruella de Vil, they're all good choices. I like Ozzy, I love Dio and Testament, and all the other bands mentioned. Slayer, of course, is awesome. Um, Ghost. They're all good bands. If you're not familiar, check them out. Check out these videos. Link is in the show notes or the description of the video. We got two more links to go through, and I think we're done for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. If you're still here listening to me, then I appreciate it. This episode was live streamed over on all of my platforms. If you want to check out the video on those platforms, they should be available on Resting Tism Face on Twitch. If you search for Resting Tism Face on YouTube, you'll find that page, and then over on my TikTok, which is todd.adhd.rocks, and over on Facebook, if you search for Resting Tism Face, or just go to facebook.com/Resting Tism Face, it will be there. And yeah, so this has been good. I've been enjoying myself. So let's take a look here. This link is going to Facebook, so let's see what it says. Redirecting you. All right, come on. Here we go. Ron Perlman still wants one last chance at Hellboy. And you know what? I think they should absolutely do one more Hellboy. Even if Hellboy looks like he's 80 years old, which by the time, if they actually started today, he would probably be 80 by the time they get it done. I mean, let's think of it like this. If they got the right script and they got, Guillermo del Toro to come back to direct it again, it's going to be good. Certainly will be better than the last two Indiana Jones movies, which, I mean, Crystal Skull had its charms. I did enjoy that movie for the most part, but there were parts of it that I was like, oh, come on, really? And then I really, really, really wanted to like the newest Indiana Jones, and it did not feel like an Indiana Jones movie to me. It felt like somebody else trying to make an Indiana Jones movie, and it had like, someone who looked like Indy kind of thing. That's kind of what it felt like. It was not. It didn't feel like a Spielberg movie because it wasn't a Spielberg movie. So if they were to do another Hellboy, and let's be honest, it's going to be Hellboy 3 if this happens. It'll be the third in the Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro movies. So what do you guys think? Do you think that we should get one more Hellboy movie with Ron Perlman? I met the man. He's super cool. If you ever get a chance to meet Ron Perlman, do. And you know what? Show him some appreciation when you meet him. Like tell him that you appreciate him being there, that kind of thing. Because the time I met him, he looked exhausted. He looked like he needed he needed some caffeine or a nap, and I was like, man, I felt kind of bad for making him come out and do this because the line that I stood in was like an hour and a half, and I know that there was people ahead of me and people behind me, so I'm sure he was gonna be there for a while signing all that stuff, unless the convention had the the thought of maybe, hey, let's give him a break and give him some coffee, or maybe like an energy bar or something. But yes, I would absolutely love to see another Ron Perlman led Hellboy movie. This is what it says here. Ron Perlman says he believes there's unfinished business with Hellboy, and even at 75, he'd be open to returning for one final movie if Guillermo del Toro and the right creative team came together. Perlman has long maintained that Hellboy 3 was supposed to be complete the story started by the first two films. After all these years, he still believes fans deserve to see that ending. The biggest obstacle: getting the budget, studio support, and key cast members aligned. But Perlman hasn't completely closed that door. Would you want Ron Perlman to suit up as Hellboy one last time? I know I would. Absolutely. Yes, please. Guillermo del Toro, please find a good script and make this movie before it's too late. Because those last two reboots, the 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 one with David Harbour, I actually liked. The last one, not so much. All right. Last story here is from IndieWire. Every Spider-Man movie ranked from worst to best. We'll see if I agree. Do you? Let's see if you agree. Let me know. Leave a comment. Uh, let's see here. The era of superhero movies dominance is dead, as you may have heard after flops like The Marvels and Supergirl. Not true. I'm going to skip over that. Let's get to the list. Number 11, from worst to best is what it said, right? Worst to best. All right, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's the one with Jamie Foxx as Electro. And yeah, I didn't hate it, but yeah, it's not the best. The Amazing Spider-Man is number 10 on that list. So Andrew Garfield is getting the brunt of this guy's list. I actually didn't hate either one of them, but yeah, they are definitely not in my top 5. Number 9, Spider-Man Far From Home from 2019. Tom Holland is number 9. Okay, okay. Number 8 is Spider-Man No Way Home from 2021. I don't know, man. I actually like that one. I think that should be higher on the list. What do you want to bet the 1, 2, and 3 are going to be Tobey Maguire? This guy definitely doesn't like anything new. Number 7 on the list is Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire in the black suit. Yeah, that was not a great movie. Number 6 on the list is Spider-Man Homecoming from 2017. I don't know. I don't know why. I've been dealing with like tickles in the back of my throat like for the past couple days. I don't know why. I don't know if it's dust or other allergens, but yeah, occasionally my throat will like I can't talk, I can't do anything unless I have some liquid in my mouth. So get some water. Number 5 on the list is Spider-Man Brand New Day. Really? I actually really like this one. Why is that only 5? Okay, number 4 on the list is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse from 2023. All right. Number 3 on the list is Spider-Man from 2002. Okay. Number 2 on the list is Spider-Man 2 from 2004, and number 1 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I was not expecting that to be number 1 until I started seeing the other ones being like 4, 3, and 2. So, I don't know. I don't agree with this list. This guy really doesn't like the newer Tom Holland movies, clearly. And he really doesn't like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Okay. All right. Who wrote this? Let me scroll all the way to the top. Let's see. By Wilson Chapman. Dude, Wilson, I don't know how old you are, but you've got to be young. Um maybe not. Maybe you're let me see. Click on that real quick. Yeah, he's young. He's absolutely young. He looks like he's in his 20s. That explains everything. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening to me kind of babble on for almost an hour. And um, I don't know if I'm going to continue doing live streams. I want to see how many people interact with this. I didn't advertise, so I didn't expect anyone to actually show up to the chat room and chat with me. But and that's why I haven't even looked at the chat. I looked at it like 10, 20 minutes ago just because I wanted to see if there was anything in there. But nope, nothing in there. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and be sure to go ahead and like and follow the social medias where you found this, or if you're not following on social medias, please go to tismface.rest, which is the website for the podcast, which will give you the links to all the socials and the places to listen and watch the podcast. I post video to YouTube and over to Substack, Resting Tism Face. And because of today's episode, it will also be on uh, on Twitch as well. So if you go to twitch.tv/restingtismface, you can check out this video, and for as long as it's there, and it's also over on YouTube and Facebook. So if you go to facebook.com/restingtismface, um, leave a comment, leave a like. And if you're listening on the normal podcasting feeds like Apple or Spotify, please give a thumbs up or a like or a star rating, and let me know how you like the show so far. This is only 7 episodes into this podcast, but I've been doing podcasting for the better part of almost 2 decades, I think. Yeah, no, 2013. Well, maybe that's the better part. And a little over 10 years at this point. So, um, over 13 years, I think, is how long I've been doing this. And I took a break for a while, and then I decided after I met Kevin Smith that you know what? He took a break from doing movies and stuff, and he did a bunch of podcasts and other stuff, and he directed TV shows and whatever else. And if he can come back to it, what he was good at, I think I'm good at this. I think I'm all right with this anyway. Um, and yeah, um, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.